Opie, you don't hit people. That's not nice.
Hey, it's my face. Also Opie's face. I usually ask you guys to pick the squishies that get makeovers, but today I'm just gonna pick them myself. So as you can see, I've got my entire collection of injured squishies. But you know, it's been a long time since I've seen all of them at once, so I just wanted to pull them all out and just have myself a jolly old time for you. Looking through the collection. Wow, that's a lot of squishies. I was a little overwhelmed, but after 30 minutes of careful consideration, when will I learn? I choose these. 6 squishies in total. Okay, so let's get straight into squishy roasting. And I'm gonna start with this little trio, but you must face squishy roasting alone. So the cake roll. It does have several chunks missing, cracks, typical, and a lovely smudge serial number. As far as design, I mean, what can I say? It's basic. I will say good squishability though. Yes, and Tweedledee and Tweedledum. The strawberry has got a heart drawn in Sharpie. Aww. It has a kind of golf ball thing going on. The calyx is very smudged, and of course everyone knows that calyx is the word for the leafy part of the strawberry, and I totally did not just Google that.
Calyx.
Okay. And the lemon, which is a lemon. It's honestly fine, like there's nothing wrong with it. Well, there's that, but I'm kind of reaching there. First things first, I'm gonna take some scrap foam and glue it into those missing chunks, secure those with rubber bands while the glue dries, and now, remove the rubber bands and start trimming away the excess foam. Honestly, for patching chunks like this, this is really the only way I know how to do it. But it's just really hard. You can't tell how good it's gonna look until you paint over it, and it's just really hard. That'll do. So I'm gonna grab some rando slick paint and seal in that memory foam. Okay, and they're back. I'm gonna remove the top of the strawberry. I already forgot what it's called. Dang it. And that's gonna be a topping for the cake roll. And the lemon, I think I'll take a slice of that too. Yep, so that's the plan, but back up. First, I do want to seal off the back of this lemon slice because it's a little rough. Now we can combine. So I'm using some fabric glue to stick on that strawberry first. Make sure we got room for lemon. And once strawberry is thriving, we go ahead and let the lemon slice move in as well. Here's what we're working with. Now to make sure they don't try to leave, because we want them stuck there forever, I'm sealing the edges with some slick paint, which yes, is the same thing as puffy paint. A lot of people ask that. I'm now going to mix up some pink paint, and I didn't bother to take notice that I had this exact color already mixed up literally right next to it. I'm gonna paint the cake roll first, and as I said, you don't know if it's a good patch job until the paint goes on. Yeah, okay, not bad. So this cake roll is going to be a strawberry lemonade theme, which is why I'm going pink with it. And for those of you who care, nowadays I usually use a mixture of matte fabric paint and slick fabric paint together. This way the paint is thin enough to apply with a paintbrush, but it's still thick enough to be durable. So now I'm gonna paint in the filling with some white. So yes, I have taken a pink cake roll with white filling and turned it into a pink cake roll with white filling. If that's not creativity, I don't know what is. Now it's topping time, and things got a little messy up there, so I'm just gonna paint over the strawberry with a dark pink and the lemon with yellow. Once again, very revolutionary color selections. And once they're dry, that dark pink dries very red, but I decided I'm okay with it. Here's where we're gonna get a little crazy. So it's basically like the strawberry just threw up on one side, and then the lemon threw up on the other side. And that's a good thing. While the paint is still wet, it's sprinkle time. I didn't use sprinkles in the last makeover video, and some of you were very concerned about my well-being. I am fine because they're back. I did use some restraint and stuck with the color scheme. Now I need to add some detail to the fruits, like the... Wait, shouldn't the white part of the lemon be... Why am I so stupid? Okay, so the lemon is wrong. It should not look like that. But you know what? What's accuracy? We don't need accuracy. That's fine. It still looks cute, so I'm actually okay. Anyway, I also threw some white seeds on the strawberry, and I ended up removing some of those later because it looked a little out of control. Too many seeds. The final touch, I'm gonna add some little fruit chunks in the filling because I felt like the bottom half was like a completely different person than the top half. You know what I mean? That makes no sense. Here's the final squishy, and this one came out kind of crazy. It's very bold, but I like it. It's got a lot of detail, which is cool. Minimum, I think that this was a clever way to combine squishies. I'm very happy to add this to my collection, and I think I will revisit this strawberry lemonade theme in the future because I'm kind of loving it, so just warning you. Okay, so next are these two, well, except I switched that cookie to the donut.
Oh, I wanted you to do the cookie. Why did you switch from the cookie?
The cookie will be back, just not today. So let's start with this little creature. This is clearly a dessert-themed hamster. I think it's a hamster, but the ears kind of throw me off a little bit. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. It's cute, except for the deflated starfish on the head. I don't really like that little detail, but other than that, it's perfect. Almost. It is torn in half.
I pooped.
And the donut, this poor donut, half of its drizzle is missing. It's got a big rip in its side and a few missing chunks. I do appreciate the shading on the bottom, but the yellow color to me looks a little sickly. So let's get to work on that, shall we? Priority number 1 is the repairs, as always. Again, I'm using fabric glue and, oh, he's like wearing a sweatband, ready to go to the gym. After drying that, I realized that I didn't apply the glue all the way to the edge, but that's okay. As long as the main part of it is in place, it's fine. And of course, reattach that ear. Voila! Now that crack needs to be sealed ASAP before everything starts falling apart again. So I'm applying a line of paint all the way around to keep everything in place. So now that I've taken the time to glue everything back into one piece, now I'm gonna cut pieces of it off. What? As I said, I'm not a big fan of this star. For some reason, it's bothering me. So I'm just gonna snip that off. Now, that's ugly. So to cover that up, I'm shaping a little tiny cherry out of memory foam to put it over there. It is kind of an odd placement for a cherry because it's kind of like off to the side, but just go with it. Of course, we must seal that in, and boom. So now let's get the sick donut up to speed. First, I'm going to go ahead and remove the rest of the drizzle, which was quite easy and mildly satisfying. Kind of looks like a spider. And of course, glue up the rip. No big deal. Oop. Better. Now for those chunks. They're not really big enough where it's necessary to use foam to fill them, so I'm just gonna fill them with paint instead. Let me seal up the crack as well and make sure to kind of like feather out the edge of the paint so that you can't see any weird lines through your actual paint job, and fill in the chunks. But as you can see, the paint does kind of sink in when it dries, so I had to do, I believe, 5 coats of paint just going over those chunks. Okay, now our friends will come together. So my plan is to glue the little creature onto the donut. So let's just make that bond permanent. Okay, now the fun can begin. First, I'm gonna paint the center of the donut light tan. This looks weird, but I have a plan, okay? Trust in me. Okay. Now I'm gonna go in with a darker tan, and I'm trying to shade it a little. It wasn't working out too well though. So off camera, somehow it got to this point. Good thought. Okay, so now for the creature. This little thing to me is kind of shaped like an ice cream scoop, so I wanted to give it kind of an ice cream flavor. So I chose Neapolitan and laid on a million thin coats of paint to build up those colors. And let me also work on the topping. We got whipped cream and the side cherry. Kind of looks like a huge pimple. It's a side cherry. That's just the style. It's cool. It's a thing. Now that that's all under control, I'm gonna go back to the donut, and I'm working with a dark chocolate. Back in the olden days, when I say olden days, I mean last year, I did a Neapolitan and dark chocolate combination squishy, so I guess I'm bringing it back. Neapolitan ice cream in the middle. So I'm doing the dark chocolate on both the frosting for the donut and the top of the head. Okay, onto the face. And I know a couple people tend to get real cranky when I make eyes that aren't just plain black dots. I understand, but I like to give my squishies different eyes so that they have different personalities. Also, I didn't forget about the front feet. I just decided not to paint the little circles on the front feet because I thought it looked kind of weird on the original squishy and vaguely, well, it just looked weird. So I wanted to change that. But yes, back to the eye discussion. Sometimes the eyes turn out good, sometimes they don't. But hey, at least we're keeping it interesting. And here's the final result. Honestly, this is one of those squishies where it's like, I just love it so much. I don't care what anyone says. I just love it. I think it turned out so good. This one in particular was just really fun for me. I'm not really sure what it was, but I felt a connection, you know? It was just so special and I'm getting real emotional. This is one of the rare times where something turned out exactly how I pictured it, so I'm cool. If you really look into the donut hole, you can see
My butt.
So how about this tiger? My feelings about this tiger are, they're complicated. One moment I'm thinking, he's cute. Then the next moment I'm like, he's kind of ugly. So I don't know, maybe it's the fact that his eyes look like olives and that kind of freaks me out. Either way, he is in some rough condition with the neck tear, ear tear, back tear, and the hole in the head. You know what? I've got an idea for this one. As always, we start with the repairs. What just happened? The only place that needs to be glued is that big old neck tear, so throw on some glue, throw on some rubber bands, throw off the rubber bands, bada boom, he's healed. So now, for the head hole, I'm just gonna take a little chunk of foam and shove it in there. This is his new brain. He's going to be so smart. Now about that tail, as cute as it is, it's not going to work with my plan, so I have to cut that off. Get rid of those tail guts. So I'm gonna construct a new tail, one with a little bit more volume, a big fluffy tail. There we go, glue that on, and that looks good. Okay, so now I need to shape her accessories. Did I just say her? Yes, she is now a girl because I'm changing this into Marie from the Aristocats. Now, everyone knows who Marie is. Wait, does everyone know who Marie is? Anyway, Marie has a bow on her head, so we got that covered. Also, she has a big bow on her back, so we gotta work on that. Why does one little cat need two different bows?
Because I'm a lady, that's why.
When I saw the shape of this squishy, it reminded me so much of Marie, and I just love her. That looks comfortable. So now everything's in place, and now of course I'm gonna seal off everything, the memory foam, all the repairs and cracks, and just go over all of that. Okay, now comes the tedious process of changing this very dark orange into a bright white. Oh my gosh, I painted so many layers, and that orange just didn't want to go away. So it took some patience and many coats of paint. I always paint more coats than I actually show on camera. I usually only film about 2 coats, but I usually do about 4 coats depending on how thick they are. This one took 6 or 7 coats. Okay, and finally we've got a solid white. So now the bows. Of course, they're gonna be pink because she would not be caught dead in any other color. There we go, and she's actually starting to look like Marie now. Wonderful. So let me give her some rosy cheeks and take care of her ears. Now here I'm sketching out where her eyes should be. Did this help? Well, you'll see. I'm gonna fill those in with black. Give her some eyebrows, start filling in the rest of her face. I also went back and defined the little bows a bit because some of the details got lost when I painted over them. So here's the thing, her whole face is crooked. It's weird because when I was up close in there, I was like, oh yes, this looks good. And then I back up and I'm like, that ain't right. But you know what? She's fine. She's okay. Did this squishy really get improved? Well, we went from Olive Eye Tiger to Crooked Eye Marie. So you tell me. I think maybe it was just kind of a lateral move. Oh hey, when you squishy, you can't really tell. Oh wait. There it is. No, you know what? She actually still is kind of cute. I mean, her face may not be perfectly symmetrical, but you know what? Neither is mine. She just kind of looks confused.
Wait, what? I don't get it.
Truth be told, I'm actually not that unhappy with this squishy. I just have to roast my own work. There are the 3 squishies for today. In the past, I've done 4 squishies per episode, but I think 3 is going to be my new number. Why? Well, when I started the series doing 4, I was doing very simple designs, just painting them, that's it. And then I started taking on damaged squishies, and so adding the repairs to the process, and then I started doing things like hand shaping memory foam, and then the paint jobs started getting more detailed, and then I started doing really large squishies which take longer, and now I'm combining multiple squishies together. So it's just been adding more and more steps to the process, and so each squishy is taking me longer and longer to complete. So I'm going down to 3 squishies per episode in order to keep doing things the way I've been doing them and keep posting these regularly. Hopefully that's okay with you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!